actually love you if you are allowing this in your life? Like, do I actually love myself if I'm allowing somebody or something to, take from me as a person? Hey guys, welcome to my channel on another episode. I'm so excited to answer one of my Q&As with you guys and get deep, right? So, here we are. If you guys didn't know, my Instagram got deleted, so I didn't have the Q&As that I had from last week. Because I don't have access to that, so I just randomly, literally 20 minutes ago, posted it on my page, and we're gonna get deep with you guys with this question. I think this is so good, and I think everything aligns. Everything happens for a reason. Everything takes its course for a reason. It's literally like there's no way you can tell me that the last 2 hours of my life didn't just happen for a reason, and now I'm here talking to you guys. So I think this is very purposeful, and I'm excited to answer one of these questions. So you ever go have, for anyone that does social media, or even doesn't have to necessarily do social media to monetize, but just uses their social media consistently, you ever have like those friends that you meet on social media that like actually become like friends with, like you actually like talk to with more than you probably talk to someone that you literally physically see? You talk to this person, and it's not on a like romantic level, it's literally on a like I support you, you support me type of thing. Well, this follower, we've been like friends of each other for a while now. And he asked me, his name is In Power, his Instagram name is In Power, and his question is, in what specific ways are you protecting your energy? Right? So I think that's a powerful question and something that we can all take from. So, as you guys know, last year I just became a single mom, and there's so many things I learned about myself that I had to get real with myself and say to myself, do you actually love you if you are allowing this in your life? Like, do I actually love myself if I'm allowing somebody or something to, take from me as a person, whether it be, like talking down on me, or like even just being around somebody that just gives you the energy you don't want in your life, like, and you allowing that, people being able to talk to you how they want, being able to treat you how you want, because you're such a forgiving person, you're such an empathetic person, right? And it honestly, you think you're being nice, but in reality you're like not setting your own boundaries on yourself, and you're not being, what's that word, not another mom brain moment. And you're not having the self respect for yourself. And it's time we get real with ourselves and say, how can I say I love myself or I respect myself if I'm allowing these things into my life? Right. And oof, right there, like let that sit in. How can I say I love myself or I respect myself when I allow people or things to hurt me or take from me? So it's a big thing is protecting your energy, protecting your peace. And the way that I recently, guys, it's been a year, and recently I came to the realization that I can no longer care, even though I care so much about other people. I tend to put other people in front of me a lot. I cannot do that any longer, because I realize how much it takes from me and who I am. And if the roles were switched, they wouldn't be doing that for me. So it's so important to protect your energy. And by protecting your energy, you're setting boundaries, and you're going to hurt a lot of people. But if they love you, they shouldn't be feeling hurt. So it makes it easier to string out whoever is not for you in your life. And you're going to go through times where you're going to be sad, because you're going to feel so strongly for certain people that you want them to come through for you in ways that you would come through for them, and they're not. And it's literally by you setting that boundary is showing you time and time again that they do not respect you. Because if me setting a boundary for myself because I love myself is upsetting you, then you don't love me. Then you don't care about me. Then this relationship is very one-sided, and it's for your benefit, not for mine, because you don't care. Get it? So ways that I'm protecting my energy. One thing that was super hard for me is blocking people, like literally getting on my phone and hitting that block button on anybody that does not serve me. And they could be blood, they could be super close, we could have years together. all of that is great. But in this season of my life, I am protecting my energy because I am protecting also my kids because I am the energy for my kids. So using that block button, there's nothing wrong with it. And it doesn't mean you have to block them forever. There's relationships that you cannot avoid in your life, right? That you might have to deal with for the rest of your life. But maybe for this moment, for your health, for your happiness, for the sake of your well being, you have to block that person. And it might be super temporary. Next month, you might unblock them, hit them with a message, try to give them access to you or see if things are getting better. And it is what it is, right? It doesn't have to be a long term, oh, I'm blocking them and I'm never talking to them and I'm not acknowledging what's the problem, right? No, doing it in the way that is serving you, but also healing, not just neglecting what's going on. You get it? You guys can feel me? So that's one thing, blocking. The second way I'm protecting my energy is being mindful of the people I have in my home. So I just recently moved about 3, 4 months ago. I moved out of state. And I always get like a lot of people like wanting to come over, wanting to be in my home or wanting to like, just come over and be in my energy, which I totally get. Like I get it. Like, you know, is a whole different experience when you get to be with somebody in person. But one thing that I feel like my home is not, it's my home, but it's really my kids' home. And I have to protect that energy as well. I don't want just anybody in my home, and you shouldn't either. You should be protecting the energy in your home, the energy that your kids are in, the energy that you're in, that when you lay your pillow, like when you lay down on your pillow at night, like you feel good and you're not like, just feeling, because energy flows where energy goes. And there's people that are not carrying the greatest energy and they come into your home and they give that to you. It's true. It's a real thing. The third way I feel like I am protecting my energy is the way that I'm protecting my energy is also confronting things about myself that I know aren't great, right? Like that I feel like I do need to work on. So I do feel like that's a way of protecting my energy because I'm not just shunning people out of my life because of the way I am. Like I am acknowledging like, hey, maybe I said something the wrong way or I did this or, and I start acknowledging it. I don't like just sit with it and just say, oh, like, damn, that happened. I'll let it go. Like, I know I actually like will call that person and say, hey, I'm sorry. I talked to you this way last week, even if it was a week ago. I don't know if that hurt you, but I just want you to know that's not the way that I wanted you to take it. I genuinely love you and care about you. And that for me is growth and me protecting my energy by saying, I'm not always going to be, I'm not perfect. None of us are, and I need to acknowledge that and have good people around me. I have to be good to people as well, right? To keep those people in my bubble, I have to be good to those people as well and acknowledge things. They can't just tolerate me and I don't tolerate things that they do. It has to be a receiving and giving relationship. It can't just be one-sided. And let's see, did I answer everything? Because those are ways that I'm protecting my energy, right? So those are like the 3 specific ways I feel like I am protecting my energy. So you guys tell me how in the comments, how are you protecting your energy, or maybe things that you can share with me that maybe I didn't even talk about that you can share and put light on ways to protect your energy in a season where you are single or by yourself or in a new state or overcoming something and you are on a healing journey. So this is me closing out this episode. Next episode, I'm going to be answering another Q&A. And I'm so excited for that one because it's very, it's very juicy. I know a lot of you guys are very, I don't want to say concerned, but you guys are very into like the reality of my life and like what happened with my last relationship and all those things like that. So I'm so excited to talk about that with you guys. I'm closing out this episode and I'll catch you on my Instagram or TikTok at Veebadest_beauty. Love y'all. Hey guys, welcome to Veebadest Talks. Back with another Q&A. I'm so excited. I love these little Q&As because they're short clips, but I feel like they're so good. They're great to like listen to in the morning or before you go to bed. Like it's just so good. So this Q&A is from, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Okay. So from __ your destiny, how do you heal from a breakup? I don't I don't think I'm the man for the job. No. Okay. So this is my opinion, how I feel. This is where I'm coming from. And this is from my experience. So if you're in a similar experience as me, as becoming a single mom last year, having two babies, moving out of state, owning multi, like the things, like, it's different for everyone. The situation is different for everybody. So everyone will have their different opinions on it. So this is going to be mine on how to heal from a breakup. And I think it can relate to somebody that even doesn't have kids. But one thing I can say, healing from a breakup with children and healing from a breakup without children are two different types of breakups. I remember being younger, being in a long term relationship, coming out of it, no babies. It was so much easier, I guess, to keep busy, to have time to like go out, do whatever you want, and all these things. As a mother healing from a breakup, it might sound bad, but it's like just the truth. And I'm just going to keep it real. It's like a constant, when you're with your babies, it's a constant reminder of your failed relationship, of the things that didn't work out, of the vision that you had. Sorry, the vision that you had for yourself and your children and your family, and not having that and then you every day you got to wake up and you're like constantly reminded of that. So I feel like the process of, overcoming that and having that realization is harder, especially when you come from a background where you grew up with both your parents. Now, it might be easier for someone that, grew up with divorced parents or their parents were never together. It's easier to think like this is a normal concept. For me, it was so hard to grasp that was no longer my reality, and it was just me and my babies. So healing in a relationship with kids is like, there's parts to it. There's healing from the person you're with for so long and that bond that you guys created, which is what you go through when you don't have kids as well. Like that bond, that person, you like literally grieving a death. That's what it feels like. You literally feel like you're grieving a loss of a person. Um, and what tends to be, it's like a loss of their potential. Like you're grieving the potential you saw in that person. You're grieving that person who you felt like he could have been or she could have been in the relationship, and now it's over. That's no longer all these goals, dreams, aspirations, visions that you had for yourself are no longer there. And it's like literally a loss that you're taking. Then the next part is having babies. And like I said, that constant reminder of a failed relationship, that guilt that you feel as a mom, that you're not able to give your kids like that picture perfect, as they would say, family, right? And one thing that I did learn on this healing journey is I don't care how good it looks on social media. I don't care how good it looks on paper, how good we look in a picture. If you are not happy within, if you are not happy with yourself, if you guys do not make each other happy or grow in any way, get out. Like get out. Like stop wasting any more time on that, and stop giving so much of your energy to that just because it looks good. Because if it doesn't feel good, the people that are going to be affected the most are those kids, because they go off of the energy and they can feel the energy and they could feel all of that. And then we're just here not giving. It's just not given. And sometimes it's better for your kids to grow up in a single parent home than to grow up in a two parent home that's toxic. And that's just my opinion. I think it's so much more beneficial to my kids to grow up in a single mother home of a mother who is happy, excited, loving, caring, all of these things, than to grow up in a home where there's fighting. Yes, they have both their parents, but they're not happy. They're toxic, all of these things. Like I feel like it's honestly effed up to do. Right. And I think it's taking the adult step and the adult initiative to be like, this isn't working out and we need to separate and go figure it out. So back to like the whole question of healing during a breakup, there, like I said, there's so many levels and parts and things. Recently, I can say it's been over like a year, like exactly like a year, right? And I can honestly say, not until the last couple months have I really can say like I'm actually healing, like I'm on my way. Because the first couple months is grieving, is like why, is like through your healing process, you go through moments where you feel like, oh, did I make the right decision? Or you feel like you're going backwards because you're thinking of like those good moments, because it always happens when you leave somebody, and you always tend to like dwell on the good times and you totally forget about like all the horrible times that were going on and why you're here in the first place. And you start to think like, oh, did I make the right decision? You start to go back, the conversations happen, and then it doesn't fall through. And then you realize like, no, this is the right path. This is the right. And it's a constant reminder of like telling yourself like, this is the right path. I have to move forward. I have to move forward. I have to move forward. Right. And then, like I said, just recently, like in these 3 months, I think I finally got to the point where I'm no longer grieving a loss. Now I'm just protecting my energy. I'm just focused more than ever. I'm in love with my space, which also was a whole nother in the healing journey you go on when you're like alone, like being alone. A lot of us have never been alone. And that is like, if you could take anything from this is learn to be alone, because you really don't know yourself until you're alone. You really don't know what you like until you're alone. You really don't know like certain things about yourself until you're in that space alone. And I remember I'm actually moved back, like, so we had a whole house and everything, and I actually ended up moving back to where I was from. And the things that I used to do to, you know, make myself like get my energy back up is like ride my bike, like ride bikes on the trails, like where I grew up in New York. And I would ride bikes on the trails by myself. And the first couple of times I rode my bike, I would stop and like call this person like, oh my God, like you should be here. Why aren't you here? Blah. And then once I got on like the third time I rode my bike, I started realizing this bike ride would, like, if I included that person, it would have been horrible. Like we probably would have been fighting. It probably would have been like the worst time ever. But because I'm so bonded by this person, because it's been so many years, I think I need that person to feel happiness. I think I need that person to do experiences with. I feel guilty having experiences without them, which is stupid. And it's just something that you have to heal from, and learning that you can have good moments by yourself, all by yourself, without a picture, without a video, without any of that. Just literally living in the moment of yourself and finding yourself. And in those moments of being by myself, I truly have found that I genuinely did not know how to be by myself. I don't think I've ever been by myself or been single for this long. And I don't want to get used to it, but I also want to be like experience it. And now moving forward in the last 3 months, I know exactly what I want moving forward. I may not want it right now because I don't feel like I'm there yet, but I do know what I want. And this is another part of the healing phase, because now you're over the relationship part. You're over the, okay, single family home now, over that. You're over the being alone. Now you're feeling comfort in your own self. And then now you're like, okay, what is my next move? Right? Like, what do I want? What do I aspire to have in my next partner? What are the qualities I want and don't want? What are the red flags? What are the green flags? Like, these are things that you should talk about with yourself. And I think we don't, because I don't know if about you, but growing up in like a Spanish household, you meet somebody, you're attracted to them, and then that's it. Like, you're together. Yeah, don't spend one waking day without each other. And it's actually not healthy at all, because then most of the time it doesn't ever work out. Right. But actually like manifesting and saying like, oh, this is what I would want in my next person. This is what I would like to see in the next person, and so on and so on. And then asking yourself, am I the person? Am I that person? Am I in the space that I can attract that person? Right? Like, am I the person for the person that I just manifested? Like that, let's say that man that's has this going on and this going on. Am I the woman that's going to attract that person right now in my life? And for me, my list, no, I'm not. I'm not where I want to be for my next person. So that's why my focus is literally, and especially in this season, I do feel like my focus season right now is my kids. And then also growing. I feel like, just to give an overall saying, is the healing journey after a breakup is different for everybody. There is phases, there is different things that you go through. You go back, you go forward, you go back, you go forward. You're crying one week, you're not crying the next week, you're happy as hell one day, then you're driving home at night and you're crying for no reason. Like, it's literally the journey. But knowing that it does get better, knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're just going through it right now and it feels dark and you feel alone, it's not forever. And I have never went through a breakup and not gotten better. And I have never gone through a hard time and not came out of it stronger. So keep that in mind when you're going through it. Like, everything is happening for a reason. There's so much better to come from this, and it's growing you into the person you need to be. So thank you guys. Love y'all. Peace out.